Hello and welcome to OneNote by Hand. Today we're going to take a look at why should we use a computer in which we can write by hand in order to study, work, and develop our brain. As usual, we're going to start off by discussing our main topic on top of this napkin. First of all, we're going to put a brain into this young man, and then we're going to isolate him from it to understand that in 40,000 BC we used to paint on walls. In 6000 BC we developed handwriting. In 1860 we invented the typing machine. And nowadays we have our brains connected to electronic brains through different sets of devices. Now let's take a look at what has happened to us more recently. In the 80s, we invented devices that work with characters. Those devices had a keyboard, and just to remind you how they were, you may recall that they had a screen, which had 24 rows by 80 characters. If I wanted to put an A on this part of the screen, I had to move the cursor to the arrows in order to get to this point and type the A in there. Anyway, this was a huge advancement in comparison with the old way of perforating cards, which we connected to computers. During the 90s, computing makes a huge step when the mouse is invented, because it allowed us to progress into more graphical computers. After many years, however, we only improved the storage capability and computing speed of these devices. But in 2010, touchscreens allow us to replace the mouse with our fingers. Nevertheless, this is not a huge advancement. It was not until 2012 when we saw the next great step in computing. Since then, new computers capable of working with handwriting through digital pens turn up. But what does this really mean? It means that for the first time, both mouse and keyboard can be separated from computers and are therefore not essential for the use of one. Digital pens allow me to underline or write straight into the screen. Therefore, there is a direct connection between my brain, my hand, and the device's electronic brain. Gustavo Gonzalez, who works as a business professor, can give out his lectures by connecting his computer to a video game, thus replacing the whiteboard. Nowadays, there are two technologies that allow me to use one of these digital pens in order to replace paper and pencil. They are N-Trig and Wacom. So let's conclude now. Our first conclusion is that both mouse and keyboard are essential to fill out structured information. That is to say, that when we have to do a bill, purchase order, or fill out a database, it is better to have a mouse and a keyboard. But when I speak about creativity, studying, business meetings and classes, I must have a digital pen to work in digital paper like the one that OneNote allows me to use. Additionally, on our next session I will show you the concept of an infinite page. These concepts will help us understand the importance of using OneNote with these new computers. I am constantly asked whether it is possible to use OneNote with a computer that only has a mouse and a keyboard. Of course you can, but we can only make use of approximately 60% of the capabilities that OneNote gives to us when we have a digital pen. Now, the question is if whether you want to become a spectator or if you want to become an actor. If you want to become a spectator, it is enough to have a mouse and a keyboard or use your finger. But if you want to become an actor, you must have a digital pen in order to connect your brain with the computer's electronic brain. Nowadays, OneNote allows me to do this. But despite the fact it is currently on every platform, there is nothing as good as using it in Windows 10 and Office 2013 or 2016. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in our next video where we'll explore the concept of infinite page to help develop our brains.